Welcome to Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast, coming to you live on this beautiful Wednesday night. We are presented by the Fins Talk Sports Network. Again, you can follow us on X, Twitter, Fins Talk Sports Network, at Justin Bowerly, and at Viking Dave, and of course, at Josh Kimmel OUS. For all you podcast listeners, please come over to the YouTube page because Justin is doing great work. Look at this awesome setup we have. Dave, did you even see it? It's freaking awesome.
I was here before you, so yes,
He
I
was
saw
here
it.
before you.
We
Calm
look like
down.
he texted me and said, I'm in the backstage area waiting on you guys. I'm like,
Yeah, I was
look
on
at this.
first.
He
You
was
guys are
here first
slackers.
today.
You guys are slackers.
We
Let me
look
tell
like
you.
we're on Pardon My. What's that show on ESPN? No idea, but it looks awesome.
They
Thanks,
all
Justin,
suck.
for that.
Oh,
ESPN's trash.
It
damn,
is
around the horn.
around the horn. Boom.
Oh, there
There's,
you go. You get
we need
3
the-
points.
Yeah. I got to figure that
Love
out.
it. Love it. That'd be great. But we are talking ADP today. We're going to talk ADP versus what their actual value is. We have a couple of players that we're going to talk about, players that we haven't really talked about all season. So we will not be bringing up Ramondre during the segment or D-Hop or any other freaking player we say all the time. So first off, trivia. This one's pretty easy, straightforward, nothing complex. I'm just going to tell you where this person finished at his position in fantasy, and you have to tell me who it is. And we're starting back in 2017.
Oh, Jesus.
He was the QB.
This is like impossible. No wonder you're going to say it's hard to get. This is like impossible.
It's going to lead into something.
So you're gonna say where they finished each season, and we have to figure it out.
Yeah, but you like
Right.
yeah. So it's going to lead in. This is called a transition, like a transition segment into.
Okay, but you can't say, oh, I have to give you all the hints when you're literally telling us
Okay.
we're supposed to randomly get like where this guy finished.
Quarterback 6 in 2017. Quarterback 6. He was quarterback 12 and 18. He was quarterback 13 in 2019. Quarterback 11 in 2020. Quarterback 11 in 2021. And quarterback 9 in 2022. He's pretty much right there in the middle, like all the time, forever. Who am I?
Kirk Cousins.
Is Kirk Cousins. Is
was
Kirk
lucky.
Cousins. It is
I was like,
exactly
that's about
Kirk
right.
Cousins.
But nice, nice.
Right? Like, isn't it like, remember we talked before we met Justin? It was just me and you. We're like, Kirk Cousins is that perfect. Like, he's that mid-tier quarterback who's always in the middle and never be terrible, never be
Yeah.
super excellent.
Yeah.
Just right
Exactly.
there. And that's the numbers kind of show it right there, where he's always a low-end quarterback 1, high-end quarterback 2. And the
I
reason
like
why
Kirk Cousins in fantasy.
I like him too, but there's a
He's
reason
always
why I
solid.
bring him up. There's a reason why I bring him up, and there's a reason why he's a hot topic right now, for me at least. You know, I was looking at ADP, and he's the first person that like came to my mind, and we're not going to get to that yet, but he was going at quarterback. What is it? Quarterback 13 right now, and I'm thinking that's too damn low. That's too damn low. But again, I'm like, wait a minute. That's where he finishes every freaking year. So why is there anything different? And I just wanted to bring him up because, Dave, I want to get your perspective. Losing someone like Adam Thielen, gaining Jordan Addison, gaining TJ Hawkinson for a full season, another season in this offense, do you think he's going to move up a little bit, or is he just going to stay right there, that boom, safe quarterback?
I actually think he's gonna. I think this might be his best year ever, with the offense being better than last year. I think Addison's a huge upgrade at Thielen. Hawkinson for a full season. He's playing for a contract. He's on his last year, either in Minnesota or somewhere else. Obviously, he's good enough. He's going to get a job somewhere. But I do think he's going to have a really good season. Would I put him much higher than that? I mean, I don't know. Maybe in the 9 to 12 range. I don't know who other guys are that are ahead of him. But he's going to finish, like you said, I think he'll finish somewhere in that area where I would love to have. If I miss out on the top guys, I'm fine getting Cousins late.
And this leads into our listener question we got from Mr. Chris Girardi. He asked me today via Microsoft Teams, what is your strategy for Superflex when picking in the range of like 9 to 12? Are you still going for quarterback if all the elite quarterbacks are off the board in round 1? Generally speaking, when do you like to have your second quarterback drafted by? That's why I bring Kirk Cousins up, because he is in that perfect range. And once you get into that first half of the first round and 6 quarterbacks are gone, where do you pivot? Or do you pivot, Dave?
I mean, it just depends on who you like. If you, a lot of people just like, I gotta get a quarterback. I'm not that guy. I disagree. If I'm at the bottom of the first, I'm probably taking a receiver or maybe Bijan if he's there. I mean, I don't know what his ADP is in Dynasty, but there's a couple guys I'm not going to settle for, Kirk Cousins in the first round. I mean, obviously that's like, you're not going to do that. But if I'm not getting a super top QB, I'm going to load up everywhere else. And then I would maybe in the second round. It just depends on who's there again. If you can get Watson in the second round, that's great.
It
And
is
then,
redraft, by the way. I just want to let everyone know we're talking redraft.
Oh, I thought you were
here.
talking about Dynasty.
No, we're in redraft season.
Yeah, I knew that. Then in regular, same thing. I mean, my theory doesn't really change much. I'm still not going to like reach for a quarterback just to have one. Would I like to? And then as far as when do I want to have my second quarterback? Probably by the fifth or sixth round at the latest, if I can get my second quarterback, and probably earlier if I can.
Yeah, you don't want to get too far behind there. If you're already missing out on that elite quarterback in round 1, and you end up going top of the board for wide receiver or running back with your first pick, go quarterback round 2. I'm not going past 5 or 6 in a super flex. So, because you want to balance that out. I mean, if you're getting an elite quarterback in the first round, you're probably not going for another quarterback for a couple more rounds, unless you just want 2 elite quarterbacks that score you 30 points a game. But you're going to suffer in other positions. But yeah,
So
if you're 9 through 12, I'm going quarterback rounds 2 and probably 4 or 5.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up because the top quarterbacks do go early, and that gives you great value at you can get a Justin Jefferson in the 7th pick, but you're not there, your 9th pick. So you're looking at maybe looking at Devontae Adams, or you may be looking at some of those top tier receivers that you wouldn't be getting, and then you can go back and get that quarterback, the Deshaun Watson like Dave brought up, or I don't know, is Justin Fields going in the first round? I don't know. I don't play redraft superflex. Do we? Are we in any superflex redraft leagues?
Yes.
Oh fuck. Well,
Royal
there
Flush.
we go.
I don't know what pick you got.
I don't know what pick I have either. I know nothing this year about my leagues, about my home leagues. I have no idea what pick I am. I have no idea who I'm keeping. I don't even know when the draft dates are. Someone help me out.
I know.
I've been asking
you better
everyone.
Figure it out because we got a week and a half away. You better.
I've been asking everyone, and no one's answering. So
Hope
they're
you're
probably
ready for
afraid of the
next Saturday.
competition. Next Saturday. Okay. Woo. Anyway, so let's get into the news. After that conversation, thanks, Chris. Thanks for listening. You're my favorite listener of all time.
I hate Chris.
I know. We'll start. Let's start with a weird one. Dalvin Cook signs a 1-year contract with the New York Jets.
I hate it.
This is awful.
I hate it. That's probably the worst spot for him because I think it crushes Brees's value and it hurts Cook's value. The thing is, Cook's too good. He's not like a Zeke or a Hunt or Fournette. Like Cook's still really solid. Maybe he's not as good as he once was, but he's still a really good player. He's gonna hurt Brees Hall's value a lot, and I think Hall's gonna hurt Cook. It really sucks. I was really hoping Dalvin would go somewhere that didn't have a really good player like Miami. I would have been great with that. Arizona, anywhere that didn't have an established guy that you really really liked. So I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
So here's the silver linings because I've been thinking about it a lot, and I heard no one talk about this. Brees is coming off a major injury. Yes, we all come back from ACLs like super quick apparently these days, and it's not a big deal. But this does long term if you roster him in Dynasty. I know we're not talking Dynasty, but still, if we are, this is a good thing. It's going to help Brees recover. He's not rushed into a situation that he's not supposed to be there. And let Dalvin Cook take the front load and, get that offense going. And then Brees can come in the second half of the season when he's fully healthy. And he's going to be there. Like, he's still going to get his reps. But let this man build up his strength and back his confidence in real football time so he doesn't have that big, responsibility on his back. I'm okay with it. It sucks. I won't be drafting either player at current ADP, but we'll talk about that.
I'll draft them all super high. And you should too if you're in my leagues.
Zeke Elliott signs with the New England Patriots. Is that a 1-year deal? I'm assuming yes as well.
Yeah.
This to me is a big zero. I don't care. It's not a big zero as in, it's not a big deal but it is a big deal as in Zeke has a job. He's going to be fun to watch football. He's going to get his 3.2 yards per carry. Congratulations, Ramondre is safe. You guys can go ahead. Sky's falling.
No one ever said sky's falling. I don't know why you have to go be such a fucking diva. That's what you do.
Always gotta assume
you exaggerate everything all the time. No one ever said he's dead. And you're like, oh, this doesn't mean anything. There's a chat going on. This doesn't mean anything. These guys are idiots. If you don't think he's at least going to take away some touchdowns, you're crazy. Would you rather have Zeke on the team or not? If you're saying you would not, you would be smart because you don't want him there. His presence alone is going to hurt him. So do I think that this crushes Ramondre? No, I do not. I'm not saying he's a bum at all. I just think it limits his upside a little bit. That's all, which sucks because I think he had a really, really good upside, and he'll still be fine. I just think it limits him a little bit because a few more touchdowns will look nice on that stat sheet if Zeke wasn't there, which I think he'll take some of those away.
I was already not completely sold on Ramondre Stevenson as my top running back on my team. I wasn't taking him anywhere in the rounds 1 through 4. I should really say 2 through 4. I'm not really sold as much on him now with Zeke there. I think they're not going to just bring in Zeke just to be cannon fodder or even just depth. I'm still staying away from Stevenson though.
Look. Does it suck that his touchdown upside is going to go away? Probably. It does. I'm not going to lie. But the fact is that the last thing we saw Zeke. Actually, everyone was clowning Zeke. I saw this 4 months ago. It was Zeke trying to pass block and him getting just demolished. Like this is the last thing we saw Zeke do because of that Hail Mary. And people were trashing him. Like, oh, he doesn't have it. He doesn't know more gas in the tank, no more tread on the tires, all the cliches. But now he signs, oh, he's touchdown this. Oh, he's a goal line back this. I'm sorry. Ask Davey Lehigh, because the last time we watched him play football, and I know that he's watching, Zeke did not run into the end zone. He ran away sideways because he's afraid of contact, and he doesn't have the power he used to have. I love Zeke. I'm the biggest Zeke truther of all time. I used to be back. He was on my teams since rookie season. Fact of the matter is he's not the same player. He's not the same player. And Ramondre is an up-and-coming player that has the power, that has the drive. I can't tell you that if Bill Belichick, you said this yourself, Dave, he doesn't give a fuck who you are. If Zeke is not converting, if Zeke's not doing anything he's supposed to do, he's riding the bench. His contract's not that crazy. They can afford. They see a Zeke. You mean nothing to us. We got Ramondre. He's better than you. That's what's going to happen. Yeah,
okay.
We'll find out.
You should be happy about this then, and just Ramondre will drop to you in every league then.
That's what I tweeted out. If you follow me on X, I said this is awesome.
I said
this is the best news ever. All the idiots are going to say that Zeke's going to be good, and I'm going to go get him in the 4th round now. This is awesome.
Go ahead.
Anyway, Treylon Burks limping. I'm still getting him in the 2nd, guys. Just to let you know, Treylon Burks limping off the field after a long touchdown catch from Tannehill. His LCL be out for 3 to 4 weeks. Who knows? Tough start for this guy's career.
Did we like Treylon Burks anyway though?
No, I didn't.
When I saw it go down, I was like, you know what? You gotta post the fantasy relevant injury news. And I'm like, is this even fantasy relevant? Like, who's rostering Treylon Burks and starting him?
I want him in all my leagues. Everyone else should too.
I don't give a shit.
To be honest, I wasn't taking him before. I'm definitely not taking him now.
The one thing that helps out with fantasy for Treylon Burks' injury is that it's DeAndre Hopkins time. Damn it.
I've been saying this for a while. Look, it's not even like Treylon Burks was, in my eyes, a threat to DeAndre Hopkins' targets anyway. Remember in the chat? Remember in one of our group chats, Dave, where I was calling Marco out and everyone, as I do backhandedly, like, hey, remember when you guys were taking these players over Garrett Wilson? And everyone was like, no, I didn't. It was Treylon Burks. This mother effer was taking Treylon Burks like 102 everywhere. Remember, Dave? Remember? I remember that
being
now.
In those leagues. I forget who went where though.
Yeah, it was Marco all about Treylon Burks. Anyway, look, the kid was a special player. They traded AJ Brown to get this kid.
Idiots! Like, what are you guys doing?
He hasn't produced at all. And I know, he got hurt, this and that. Listen, Jalen Reagor had a rough year. He got hurt. Everyone threw him away. Jameis Williams did absolutely like 0 last year, right? Hurt, yada yada yada. Y'all threw him out. Why are we still sticking to Treylon Burks? Why is everyone still? I'm not either. I can't
imagine what Tennessee could be if they had AJ Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, and Derrick
Henry. Can you imagine if Tennessee had a wide receiver like AJ Brown on their team? That'd be pretty good.
That'd be insane. So good. They'd be so good.
Speaking of Jamison Williams, possible hamstring injury as he limped off the field, but I do not care. He's going to be out for 6 games regardless because of the suspension.
Exactly.
So not really news in my eyes. Hopefully he gets better. Another one that I really don't care about, Russell Gage out for the season. It's not like it's going to matter to most people fantasy wise. Sucks for Russell Gage. Sucks for the Buccaneers, but fantasy wise, nobody was drafting him.
No, he's projected only 6 points a game before his injury. So
Yeah,
he's wide
solid
receiver
player.
3 on his own team. So I mean, he shouldn't even
solid
be
NFL player.
Yeah.
In the last
random
news,
games here and there.
yeah, last news, Anthony Richardson's been named starter for the Colts, and Jonathan Taylor has left the building for
I
personal
told you I
matters.
don't want to talk about that. Good news, good vibes only over here. Josh.
What's up with that? Like, is everything okay?
He said personal issues or a personal matter.
That's what he said.
He was already away from the team rehabbing an injury that he didn't get before camp, but was injured at camp when he got surgery 6 months ago for an ankle injury. So he finally was supposed to come back to camp this week, was here Monday, Tuesday, and then left today. So for a personal matter.
You know what this is?
He just wants
This is Michael Thomas a couple years ago, all over again.
But Michael
Don't draft
Thomas
him.
wasn't looking for money. He was just
He don't
think
issues with the
Taylor's
team.
Yeah, I don't think he's hurt. I just he's
doesn't
the
wanna be
running
there.
back in the market right now that he has to set the pace. He's 24 years old, wants a new contract. He wants to set the market for all the other running backs coming up on contracts. And I personally think he saw, both Dalvin and Zeke get contracts for less than $8 million a year, and he's just like, "Whoa, what? Wait, hold on."
Yeah, but they're also older. If he thinks he's still good. He's still better than those guys right now. But you're not going to get the huge money.
I don't see why he doesn't just play the year. He's already under contract. It's not like he's franchise tagged like some of the other guys, but this is dumb.
Hey, unbiased opinion, Justin. Do you think he's a top 5 actual running back in the NFL?
He hasn't been in a while. The year he ran for 1,800 yards, yeah, I would say he's top 2, if not 1. Right now, I don't think he's a top 5 running back.
Like, don't you think NFL GMs would rather have a CMC, Saquon, Derrick Henry? Like, I'm talking about just for like coming up this season. Overall, like, don't you think? Because I feel like
if they're in a win now mode, if they want to win this year, yeah, I'd rather go with CMC or somebody like that because he's a proven back. He is a veteran in the locker room. He's got all those intangibles. If you're somebody that needs 2-3 years to really compete for a Super Bowl, I'd rather have Jonathan Taylor. He's younger and has less miles.
Yeah,
of
course. I'm just thinking like Austin Eckler. He's always electric. There's many games where Jonathan Taylor gets phased out, and I just don't think he's like top 8 real life running back or top 10.
I think if he's fully healthy, he is. I think.
I just named like 8.
Healthy.
Who?
CMC, Eckler. I'd rather have.
I would actually really love to see him.
Nick Chubb.
And I would love to see JT in a RPO offense with Anthony Richardson when you have to now.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Factor in both of the
top 10s, maybe crazy. Top 10 is probably not crazy. Top 5 though. He's not top 5. There's many other players that I'd rather have. Yeah. But unfortunate for him. Hey, we're not going to talk about Kirk Cousins on the ADP thing because I already burnt that in trivia. But I just wanted to bring this up because I did some goddamn research, and this is the number 1 stat I pulled up. Dave, do you know this? I'm trying to impress you, buddy. Kirk Cousins was first in CPOE in 2022.
Oh, it was some made up stat? Yeah, I did not know that. I don't even know what CPOE means.
CPOE
stands for... Let me guess. I don't even know what does that mean?
Guys, this terminology and these stats will mess you up in fantasy. When you start going here and there and this, and you're overthinking by making shit up.
What is CPOE? Tell me.
Completion percentage over expected.
Okay.
As the name suggests, it measures how much the higher or lower a quarterback's completion percentage is relative to what we'd expect it to be based on the types of passes they attempted.
It's like goals against expected and all these okay.
It's ridiculous. We're just making things up.
That's pretty good. I mean, because he's awesome. I mean, I don't doubt it that he's number 1.
If this was a bad stat, you'd be like, "This is stupid, throw it away."
Well, it's still a dumb stat. It's still a dumb made up stat, but at least it's a good stat for him.
All right, Justin. Here's the first name we're going to go with. We're going to go with guys that are too high. We haven't talked about him all offseason. Devontae Adams, currently going wide receiver 8, ADP overall 15. I don't know what to say. So, Dave, I'm gonna throw it to you first, like I usually
No,
do.
no, no, no. I don't want to start. I don't want to
All
start
right.
because I don't. First of all, I need to know who's. You say he's too high.
No, I'm
That's
just
what
saying.
you.
No, no, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I think. Hold on. Let me rewind. I put too high question mark. Are they too high? I don't
Okay,
think these are too
so
high.
let's hear your opinion then, Mister
I'm the host.
Kimmel.
I pass off. I'm the Steph
Okay, well I'm
Curry of the
passing it
show.
back. We're doing a give and go. That's what we're doing.
Devontae Adams, in my opinion, is too high compared to who's around him. And I say he's too high because Jimmy Garoppolo is his quarterback. And why is that good for him? Above him, other than the obvious Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek, Cup, Diggs, Brown, and Lamb, I would only agree that maybe one of them is below him, but I'm a lot lower on Cup than everyone else is. He's also in front of Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith. I'd rather have them over
I wouldn't
Adams.
take any of those guys. Garrett Wilson is the only one I
Garrett,
would
I,
take
I
right
would
now.
100% take Garrett Wilson over Devonta Adams. I'm not
I would
saying
take
Devonta
Wilson.
Adams is like crazy above his his ADP and where he's being drafted, but I think he is a little high based on that offense. They don't have Josh Jacobs right now. I don't think they're going to have Josh Jacobs this season, so that takes away their running game. They have Jimmy Garoppolo or Brian Hoyer as their quarterback, depending on if Jimmy G is healthy to play week 1. And then after that, you got rookie Aiden O'Connell from. Can anybody say what college he went to?
I'm gonna guess Purdue.
Yeah, he went to Purdue. So
Nailed it.
maybe he's the Brock Purdy of this season, but I'm not sold on Devonta Adams being wide receiver number 8 right now.
Okay. Since Dave doesn't want to go second, I will because I just know. I look same things. Jimmy Garoppolo is a huge question mark in his own right. When's the last time he finished a season healthy? When's the last time he got through multiple games healthy? And then you're looking at Brian Hoyer. And yes, stud receivers will always find a way. As long as they get targets and as long as they're somewhat catchable, someone like a Devontae Adams will come down with the ball more times than not. He's also a huge touchdown threat. I looked at his stats today. He has the most red zone touchdowns by far in the NFL in like the past 4 years. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now. Actually, yes, I do. I have Adam Thielen's, but phenomenal, like beyond Adam Thielen, right? Like you thought Adam Thielen was great back then. Adams blows him away. As long as he gets his touchdowns, as long as he gets his 80 catches, 1,000 yards, 14, and 14 is a lot, but that's what he does. He scores 14 touchdowns no matter who he has. Yes, he's had Rodgers his whole career. And yes, he went to Derek Carr, who's a little step down. Now he's taken one more step down. I don't know if I want a guy who's taken his third step down at the quarterback position when I can go get an AJ Brown. Hell, I'd rather have Amon-Ra. I'm sorry, Dave. I know that you said you would not. I would. The guy's going to get like a bajillion targets in the offense where he's the only show in town where he proves that he is a super stud. You know, ADP in my mind is the value of that player. And if I'm looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown on the left and I'm looking at Devontae Adams on the right, I'm going, wow, that box is new, shiny. He puts up kind of the same numbers, not as much, but quarterback position, whatever. Oh, this guy right here is beaten down. He's a little older. Damn, that his quarterback's not as good. I think I'm going to go with the shiny box. And that's with AJ Brown, Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle. Like, honestly, those guys right there are all ahead of me, are moving up in my ranks. That's it. I'm just afraid of the eventual fall off.
I think I disagree. I would only take Garrett Wilson over him out of those guys you named. I think Amon-Ra's really good. I think Waddle's great. I just think Adams is one of the top 3 probably receivers in real life. Top 5 for sure. I think Garoppolo, didn't he support Debo when he had like a gazillion yards? And yeah, I know he ran the ball a lot, so that helped his fantasy stats. But the point is, Garoppolo doesn't suck. He's accurate. He's good. He's fine. He's more than capable. We've seen way worse quarterbacks support really good receivers. Hopkins played with trash before, like lots of these guys have. Adams is really he's too good to not produce. Like you said, he's going to score touchdowns. Like, who else is in that offense? They don't have Waller. Yeah, they have Renfro, who's a good player, but they don't have any other superstars. Like, nobody else is going to take targets away from him. He's going to have a gazillion targets. And Jimmy Garoppolo is way too good. And I say that, like, as in the fact that he's not a bum. I don't think he's good, but he's not a bum at all. He's a solid, capable quarterback. And I think Adams is just too good to where who else on that offense you got to work? So if they don't have Jacobs, they're going to throw the ball every single play, maybe? Like, I don't know how it's going to work. I just think Adams is too good where you can't drop him out of the top 10 at the worst. And if you're saying that that's crazy, okay, take him 10th instead of 8th. But he's too good. I'll gladly take him in the second round if I can get him and be super happy to pair him with whoever I got in the first round.
When did Derek Carr get benched last year, or like just leave
Like
the
the
team?
last 2 or 3. Or was it just the one game? It was
I don't know.
actually the last game of the season. You know why I know this? This is how I know this. If I started Devontae Adams week 17 or whatever it was, because I had him and I benched him because they went to the backup quarterback, and I benched him for, I think, Deontay Johnson, and Adams went fucking bananas. Because they had like a lull at the end of the season, and Adams wasn't great. Like, he was still good. And I was like, well, now they got this. Like, the team quit. I'm like, they're done. I'm going to bench Adams in like the championship game, thinking I'm fucking smart. Yeah, I'm the biggest idiot in the world. And like, he just went off. So
11 catches, 7 catches, 153 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
yeah,
34.3
I mean,
points.
Adams is
Yeah.
too good. He's too good of a player. I'm sorry. You can take some other guys over him if you want to, but I won't be doing it.
I will say last year he had 7 games outside of a wide receiver 3. His wide receiver 3 or worse in 7 out of the 17 games he
Damn,
played.
really? It's pretty
Yeah, like
inconsistent.
wide receiver, pretty inconsistent. Like week 2 he was terrible. Week 4 he was like god awful. He was in the 50s a lot. I'm just like weeks 15 through 15, 16, and 14 he was awful.
Yeah.
That's why I benched
39,
him for
59,
like that
78.
game. Like, that's literally why I benched him. I was like, he hasn't done shit for me. I'm in the championship game anyways.
And
Like,
Carr's
now
out.
the team had quit. Carr had was done. Like, I'm like, this team is done. They're giving up. And then he just goes nuts.
And now that I'm looking at it, if you actually look at his numbers, the games he doesn't score a touchdown, useless. Complete. He's like the Derrick Henry of receivers.
Yeah, you're right.
He's
You're
useless if he
absolutely
doesn't score a
Looking at this
touchdown.
now.
And that
If
scares
he
me,
scores a
Dave.
touchdown, he has 23 plus points. If he doesn't, he has under 13.
And that kind
And
of
usually
scares
it's
me.
under double digits.
And that's why you can't count on a team who just got rid of their quarterback, went to a lesser quarterback. Are they going to score as many touchdowns as they did last year? And if they do, are they all going to go to Devontae Adams? Or are they going to be spread out a little bit more because he doesn't have that relationship? I don't know. We'll see. I'm not taking him that high. He's a little too high for me. That's all. The next guy on our list, we're going to stick in the very high end area. We're going to go to quarterback. Deshaun Watson, quarterback 9, ADP 82 overall. We talked about this a little bit in the group chat. Dave thinks he's he's actually kind of perfect. So Dave, explain this time. You go first this time. Is he too high, too low?
Well, again, I have to know who's around. I'm not looking at the ADP like you guys have. So tell me some of the guys that are after him.
Here's your top 10. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott.
I wouldn't take anybody ahead of him. Oh, I wouldn't take Watson over anybody ahead of him. And I'd take him over Dak. I'd take him over Tua. I'd take him over Cousins. I'm sure those are the next guys in line. I think he's perfect. I think he's literally perfect because his upside is good enough. We know what is capable of. He's got top 5 upside. And if he doesn't, you got him as QB9. And you go and you get somebody off the waiver wire. Like, you get Daniel Jones or somebody, you'll be fine. So I think with the upside that he provides, I think he's perfect. I don't know how you can move him up. I mean, maybe you can, if you want to be safe, you go with Dak. If you want to be safe, you go with Cousins. If you want to be, a little bit kind of upside also Tua. I just think I'm going to risk it on Watson one more time, see how he does with the full offseason. He gets to play from the beginning of the year this time. And maybe that's because I fall into it sometimes too. Like, we know what he's capable of. If he does it, great things could happen, and he could be a steal.
No, I'm with you there, man. At first, I'm like, gosh, is he too low, right? Because we know what he can do. We saw what he's done. Then I'm like, wait, is he too high? Because I look at that offense, and they're just gonna run the ball with Nick Chubb. They're a run first offense. Kubiak's always been that. I brought that up multiple times this offseason. Always in the bottom 3 at passing attempts. That kind of scares me. Then you look at his weapons. You're like, okay, Elijah Moore, Amari Cooper, not great. Like, they're good. They're there, but they're not great. They're not elite.
But it's just like the Texans. He had DeAndre Hopkins and who?
Yeah, but at least he had a Hopkins. Like I'm not. You're calling him Amari Cooper.
I mean,
Amari
relevant?
Cooper is
Amari
really
Cooper's not
good.
Hopkins,
He's
but
good,
he's really good.
but he's not.
I mean, no, he's
Yeah,
not Hopkins. No one's saying he's Hopkins, but still, Cooper's really good. Elijah Moore, you love him.
I do.
Apparently, he's the next big thing. And
I didn't say
Joker's a
that.
solid tight end. Yeah, you've been sucking his, you know what, for a while. First of all, um, he's got Njoku. He's a really good tight end. Like they got weapons. You know, with Donovan Peoples-Jones, he's a really underrated
Yes, he
receiver
is.
too.
But are
They
they going to
have
let him sling it?
playmaker. Probably not as much as maybe we want because Nick Chubb's one of the best running backs in the league, and that's a run first team. But if he can do what he does, he can scramble. He can get those rushing yards. Also, he's got that upside. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying, would you rather have Dak? Although I really like Dak, I think Brandon Cooks is going to be a good addition to that team, and even Cousins. You know, like I said, the guys I named after him are all fine. I just think I want Watson. I want to risk it and see what happens with it.
Like so last year, Deshaun Watson, just a little screenshot. Yes, we know he was terrible. He didn't have any good games, but the 2 games that he did blow up, the week 17 where he had 21.9 points, and week 18 he had 19.6. Those were all like massive touchdown games where he had a lot of those, and he didn't really throw the ball a ton, 18 times, 29 times. That's not what I want in my QB1. Top end quarterbacks, you need to throw the ball a ton. Look at all the top guys. Josh Allen's throwing it 40 times a game. Mahomes 40 times a game. And if you're not throwing it, you better run it. Like Justin Fields rushes for like 80 yards a game. Watson's not giving you the rushing yards. He didn't last year. And he's also not giving you the passing attempts that you need. So he needs to be super efficient. And I'm talking super efficient, like Aaron Rodgers efficient to actually return on his value. Because I'm looking at other guys around him. You're right, Dak. He's going to throw the ball a ton, right? You know this already. You're looking at guys like Trevor Lawrence, who's going to throw the ball a ton. Tua, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, like you said. We know where they're going to finish. Whereas Deshaun Watson, we don't know if he's going to have games where he only throws it 19 times and Nick Chubb runs it 40 fucking times. We just don't know. And that's why I'm kind of I was on him. I don't want anything to do with him anymore. Justin, how say you?
Oh, damn. Sorry, cut jalapenos for dinner, and I just rubbed my eye, and
That's the
apparently
worst.
still have it on there.
Maybe wash your hands next time there, buddy.
I did. I will go ahead and fight through this like a champ with one eyeball open. I don't know how to feel about Deshaun. I mean, I feel like at first when I saw QB9, I was like, that's really high for somebody that hasn't played a full season in 3 years. But as we said, he's finished as QB5 basically his 3 only seasons. I'm not going to count the first season against him where he only played 7 games and finished as QB 26. But even last year, like you said, he doesn't get that many pass attempts. They're in a run-heavy offense. He doesn't have the rushing upside. He scored 20-plus points in the last 2 weeks. You got to hope that that's something. I mean, it's against Washington and Pittsburgh, and those teams were garbage last year. But I think I'm like Dave. I think you make the gamble one more time, and if he sucks this year, he's done. I mean, Cleveland is where the quarterbacks go to die. We've all known this, so he might die this season. He might be pretty good, but I would probably lean on he's probably going to be average, which makes that really hard to make your QB1. But luckily, he's being drafted at 82 overall, so you can maybe get somebody else in there.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing about those quarterbacks, and they're in 8th round, 7th round, whatever. You just get another one.
Yeah.
Play whatever quarterback role you
can
want.
Get Kirk Cousins in the 13th round instead.
Yeah. So there you go. Let's go with some running backs. We're going to shift over to maybe they're too low end. We'll go with Chicago Bear running back Khalil Herbert, ADP running back 36, overall 99. I'm just going to say it right here. I don't understand this ADP. Do we all hate? We all love Justin Fields. We all love DJ Moore. We're all going bananas for this offense. Apparently, we don't like the starting running back.
Justin is going bananas for this.
Well, everyone, you go on Twitter. I missed the preseason game. I go on Twitter and like Justin Fields like 5 bajillion yards and 10,000 touchdowns, and everyone's going nuts
with 3 passes. Yeah,
and then I find out that all 3 passes went behind the line of scrimmage.
He did,
and he did 0. And And it
Bears
was
fans act like they won the Super Bowl. Oh my god!
DJ
Like
Moore,
they
DJ Moore
think
almost
he's
dropped it.
Mahomes now. Oh my gosh, bro! Like I'm gonna stop. Let me stop.
no, let's go because this is hilarious. So I'm sitting there. I didn't watch the games. I didn't watch anything. I knew
I didn't
nothing.
watch it either.
I just went on my phone. I'm like, the fuck just happened? So I'm like, this is insane. So I just like kind of like go on Twitter and I see that tweet. Just let you guys know, Justin Fields had -7 air yards on those 3 passing attempts. I'm like, so Khalil Herbert,
150 yards.
so Khalil Herbert and DJ Moore and these guys made him look like a star. And yes,
Yeah.
one of those guys were Khalil Herbert.
Khalil
Yes. And he is not a star, but we saw glimpses of him when David Montgomery would go down. Herbert always produced. Herbert always did very, very, very well. And the fact that he's going running back 36 when he has zero competition. I know you're gonna say, but they have Deontay Foreman, but they got this rookie Roshan Johnson. Yeah, but they have Khalil Herbert, who's proven it, who's done it, who can do it.
What's he proven? He hasn't proven anything.
Did you see that? Did you see that bajillion?
Oh, that he could take a 50-yard screen pass to the house?
No, honestly, did you see? Just go back. Look. The bottom line is this, Dave. I'm pulling up his stats right now because I did have him up. But look, he's got Deontay Foreman and Roshan Johnson. Do any of those people scare you? This screams to me Trey Sermon and all these fucking guys that we thought were going to be something that turned out to be nothing, right? If Roshan Johnson was so good, we'd be talking about him more. Deontay Foreman's a shell of himself. Yes, he's good, but he's not going to give you the speed and the explosiveness as Khalil Herbert. That's just the bottom line. Justin, can you elaborate?
I will admit his fantasy points don't scare me. He's pretty average in fantasy until he got hurt last year. But I'm not scared of God Lord, Foreman. Roshan Johnson did not impress me. And he was playing against 3rd and 4th stringers. And I never saw him have a positive run in the 4th quarter, which is concerning in my opinion. I know that's his first NFL action, but you're playing against 4th string. You should be getting some yards. I'm not sold on any of the running backs on this team. But if I had to be sold on one, it's Khalil Herbert over all of them. I think they like him more. I feel like you don't trade Montgomery away if you don't feel like you're okay at the running back position. I personally think that Chicago sees Khalil Herbert very, very similar to how they saw Tariq Cohen, a little fast dude that made plays when he could. They shipped out Jordan Howard when they didn't need him anymore because they had Tariq Cohen. I see Khalil Herbert being that same kind of utility player.
So you don't think he's going to... So he had 129 carries last season. Only 12 targets, which was concerning, but Montgomery was there. But gosh, the guy popped off every time. 5.2 yards per carry, 5.7 yards per touch. Like those are elite numbers.
When he got his chance, he did something with his chance. So when Montgomery wasn't doing well, Khalil was.
I mean, top 10 in the league in yards created per touch and Drew crate. If you look at the metrics, the guy can be something. That's why I'm saying 36 is way too low for someone that is a starting running back. There's only 32 teams in the NFL, 32. And you're telling me this guy is not good enough to be in that 32 spot. That's just insane to me. A guy so you'd rather have backups. I don't even know the ADP. Probably Jalen Warren getting drafted out here because people are idiots.
People are drafting AJ Dillon, Antonio Gibson, Rashad Penny over Khalil.
That's what I'm saying. Why
Brian
would we
Robinson,
do that?
Like there's 2 Washington running backs before Khalil.
And that should tell you all you guys need to know. I'm not a fan. I mean, I've seen lots of backup running backs look good in spot duty, when the starter comes out. They're not going to run the ball. To me, I don't think they're going to run the ball enough to give Herbert for him to be that guy. His like you said, his targets were really, really low. Now maybe that they go up. I would assume that they would go up. I don't know. Like Justin said, he's kind of like maybe he's a gadget player. I don't know if he's fit for like a full-time role. Listen, is he better than RB36? Probably. I'd probably take him over a couple of those guys because he's the starter. But is he going to be the starter when you need him at the end of the season? Because that's what I want. I don't care about who starts week 1. I care who's going to help me in the fantasy playoffs. Like, that's just a fact. And you know what else? You guys talk about Deontay Foreman. That guy every single year signs the team in like October and is the leading rusher the rest of the season. He's super underrated. I don't think he's great at all. I'm not saying that at all. I just think he's one of those guys that like he just produces every year. He's like with Carolina traded CMC, and Foreman comes out. He's a fantasy beast for you, right? Tell me I'm lying.
You're
I'm
right.
not.
You're right.
So I just think I don't know if Herbert's that guy. Maybe he is. Like I said, probably he should be going a few spots higher, maybe. But I feel like if you do draft him and he has a couple good games, you trade him immediately because I don't think he's going to be that guy when you need him in the fantasy towards the end of the season. That's just how I feel. I probably won't even own him in any leagues because I don't really trust him.
Because you don't own players.
No, I own them all. Everyone I draft, I already told you I own him.
I would only
I own Justin Jefferson. He's up there on my wall.
I would only be drafting them in like a best ball league when you don't have to like figure out when they're.
That's a good place to take him. I think that's a great spot to take him. I'd probably take him a few spots higher than 36. Sure, if you want to say that, fine. Personally, I don't really trust him full time to be that guy. That's why I'm not going to argue his ADP too much because I don't really want him, and I don't think he's going to be there when I need him most. So we'll see. And plus, his RB1 is Fields. We already know that.
All right. I want to bring up one more guy, then we got to get out of here. I want to talk about. Do you actually want to pick him, Justin? I'll let you pick.
Do you want me to just pick a random one on here?
Pick a random one, and we'll talk about him.
Ooh,
let's see who it is.
This one.
That's who I was gonna pick, baby. Old busted ass.
Why? Why are we talking about Adam Thielen?
He's
a blah player, guys. Come on, we can do better than this.
We're gonna do better than that. But I just want to ask you, Dave.
We'll do one more after this one.
Yeah, this is gonna be quick. I just want to ask you this, and I didn't tell Justin put him up there. Do you think he's better than wide receiver 52 this year in that offense?
I don't know.
No.
I don't really want him either. I think I could tell as a Viking, if he couldn't get enough separation when he's got Justin Jefferson taking 2 and 3. Literally, if you watch the end of the Vikings games towards the end of the season, there were 3 guys covering Justin Jefferson and Hawkinson. And Thielen's one-on-one whenever every single play. He has nobody else guarding him. And he couldn't do it. Like, I love Adam Thielen. And he'll probably have a couple of games that's decent. But you got Bryce Young, and unless he's that guy, I worry. That's why I worry about Carolina's offense. Like, I think there'll be games where Thielen has 5 catches, 80 yards, and he scores a touchdown. But he's not going to be consistent, I don't think. He's not good enough to separate when he's got Justin Jefferson and Hawkinson taking 5 defensive backs. What makes you think he's going to get open against the top guys? I just don't think he's that guy anymore. And I hate to say it because I love him, but it's another guy that I won't own because I just don't think he's going to be fantasy relevant for me when I need him, which is ever.
I do think that he's going to be the safety net for that young quarterback over there. I do believe, I don't want him on my team, but if you're looking at spot starts once in a while, he might be a good option. But he had 70 receptions last year, 716 yards. You're right. He just didn't do it for me. But you know what? Here's an interesting stat. He was number 2 in overall in the NFL with routes run. Number 2. He was also second. Yeah. And he was number 2 overall in the world against man coverage. So he was always beating man coverage. Number 2. He won the most routes besides everyone. Who's number 1? I don't even know.
Wasn't he also just running like 21 miles per hour in camp?
I don't know.
Hold on.
I saw that random one day.
He ran the most routes in the NFL last year. Second most routes in the NFL.
That's more
than Justin Jefferson?
That's what Player Profiler says right here. Routes run 621.
What?
Yeah,
I'm so confused.
That's what the Player Profile. Unless they're lying to me, they might.
I just don't know how he was out there more than Jefferson. Like, when did that happen?
I'm just telling you, he ran the most routes.
Listen,
second most.
And I'm asking you a question. I need to know the answer because when was that? I watched all games.
I can tell you. Let me look up how much Justin Jefferson ran.
Yeah, let's hear it because I need to know this.
All right, so 621 for Thielen, and then Justin Jefferson ran. If it'll load, never spinning. We're getting spinning circles over here.
Oh no!
Yeah, I know, right? Internet must be going to Spectrum. It's the worst. But I don't know, Dave, because there it is. There's my beautiful man, Justin Jefferson, my love, my true love. I traded you away for Hollywood Brown. Oh. Justin Jefferson was number 1 at 648 routes run.
There we go. Okay, so that makes sense.
They were 1 and 2.
There's no way Justin Jefferson can be higher than Thielen because he was that.
And he was number 1 against man coverage. So Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson were 1 and 2 in beating man coverage.
Damn, how did that team not? Never mind.
All
not
right,
gonna
next
get Dave
player, last
started.
player. Let's go with so Dave wants a flashy, cool player, right? Dave wants someone cool.
Just want someone to talk about that's
All right,
got
let's talk.
some intrigue.
Let's talk Debo Samuel. Can we talk
I
Debo?
was actually about to click that anyway.
Does that
So
make you happy, Dave?
That's a good one
Okay, all
because
right.
I
Why?
have no idea how to rank Debo. I'll be 100%
Hold
honest.
on.
I don't know.
One more thing on Thielen before I leave, because this was a stat I had to pull up too. 2020, he had 20. In 2020, he had 20 red zone targets. He converted touchdowns on 70% of those targets. 2021, he had 15 red zone targets. He converted 66.7% of the time for touchdowns. Last year, he had 22, only converted 27.3%. I've been telling y'all forever, that's the difference because he's had similar numbers 70 catches, 700 yards, fucking 3 years in a row. The difference is those touchdowns. Anyway, move forward over to my boy Debo. I hate him. Justin, how do you
I
feel?
don't hate him. I think he's such a good
Dave,
football
how do you feel?
player. I just go ahead, Justin. You
I
start.
don't know what to do with him anymore. Since CMC went there, it basically takes away his rushing upside. So that
Mhm.
really, really hurts him, in my opinion. He finished as wide receiver 40 last year, but he was 3 the year before. He's had one very, very, very good season. The rest of it's just been blah. And now you don't know who the quarterback is going to be. Is it going to be Brock Purdy? Is it going to be Trey Lance? I'm not really worried about it because it's a Kyle Shanahan offense. They'll figure it out. But I don't know what to say about them. Like a 49ers offense with Kyle Shanahan is like the Browns right now. Like it's a rushing offense. But if you're not going to give Debo Samuel the ball on the ground, how else is he getting the ball?
Hey,
Wide
I'm with
receiver
you.
14 seems too high to me for him.
I'm really with you on that one. And if you listen to us for a while, I was all on him last year as well because the same situation with Trey Lance. You didn't know what's going to happen. It was very impossible to reproduce that rushing attack that he had. That was a very unique and special year. That's not something you can duplicate. It's just very special, right? The fact that he's going so high right now, above players like Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, like we talked about, even a
T.
DeAndre
Higgins,
Hopkins,
like
it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't add up. Yeah, he's the number one option there, but is he? We
CMC
saw
is.
yeah, CMC is, and then if you look, they loved Kittle at the very end of the season. He was putting up numbers. So you're potentially looking at any kind of game where Debo being the third option on your offense, and you're drafting like a first option, and that to me is red flags. That to me is scary. And I mean, let's just say we saw what Trey Lance looked like from preseason. Didn't look great. We got people on Twitter banging the fucking drum for Sam Darnold. Really, we're riding that train again? That didn't happen. It's not going to happen. So what are we really looking at here? 3 different quarterbacks that were totally unknown. A guy who was only productive 1 year when he could run the ball, but now they replaced that with CMC. And a guy who's not going to get as many targets as we want for a wide receiver 1 on your team.
This is why I don't want anybody on San Francisco except for CMC. One, I think their offense is going to be amazing because it is every year. Shanahan's awesome at scheming things up. They got a great running game. CMC obviously can catch the ball as well. 2, there's never since 2 years ago when it was all Debo, it's been Kittle one game, then it's Ayuk one game, then it's Debo a game, then it's CMC also. Elijah Mitchell has really good games. They have weapons everywhere, and they don't have anybody that's just like that dude that has to get, except for Christian McCaffrey, who has to get the ball. And to be honest, I think Ayuk might be the better pure receiver on the team. Debo's a playmaker. He's absolutely a playmaker. They need to get the ball in his hands. But there's been games where I've seen him get 2 catches, and if he doesn't break it, he doesn't do much. But he'll get a couple of carries to help out his fantasy day. He's not going to get the targets like some of these guys that big name guys get. I think he's got such high upside. But again, with all of the playmakers on that team, Kittle's another guy that I won't have on my team. He's so inconsistent. He has huge games and he disappears. And it's the same way with these wide receivers. I think the best value on that team is Ayuk. I really like Debo as a player. I think he's a great football player. I just don't know if I want his the waves that come with him, volatility at his fantasy days where he'll have 30 points and then he'll have, like 8. And you're like, what the heck, man? Or even less than that. He's had just bad games where he doesn't get enough touches. So that's the thing with him. I also don't like his ADP. I feel it's a little high. He's got that upside to be a top 5 guy again. I just don't think without the rushing that's going to happen ever again. And you named off a couple guys that I'd rather have over him, probably a handful or so. So I think right now he's another guy that's living off of his name from a couple years ago that people are hoping will bounce back. But I don't see how he can on that team.
And I really
sorry, I was gonna say Debo's only somebody that I'd be having in a flex, and drafting him as a wide receiver 1 is a grave mistake, and you're probably not going to be competing this year.
The guy's only had over 100 targets once in his life, and that was his special.
What did he have last year?
95.
He was hurt. Was he hurt?
He only played 13 games.
Right,
but still, hold on, 13 games, but still 632 yards. Not great. His yards.
Wait, he only had 632 receiving yards in 13 games.
He was not good last year.
No, I know that, but I didn't realize he was that bad. Honestly,
yeah, that's why I hate him.
That's like 50 yards a game. That's terrible.
Yeah, he was not good last year. There was what?
Okay, I knew I wasn't crazy then. All right.
I'm looking at his stat line last year. I'm like, there's not one week where he saved you. Week 11, he was a wide receiver 5. Other than that, he was wide receiver 24, 33, 66, 58, 45, 35, 6, 40.
He was that
20.
bad?
Yeah, he was very bad last year.
You know what's crazy is I had him as my wide receiver 3 in one of our leagues, and after like 2 weeks, I knew something was wrong. I was like, he's not going to be that guy again, and I traded him immediately to some sucker named Jerry in our league. Except that sucker traded me Javonte Williams, who blew out his knee the same week. So
he got an average player, and you got to play him.
I would rather have the guy with a blown out knee, so I don't start him though.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true.
Because you got to start Debo if he's on your team. You're going to start him every week, and you're getting those numbers. Like I knew from the beginning. I was like, all right, I got to get rid of this guy. I was right. I just got unfortunate, but the guy I traded for blew out his knee. So
yep. But that is going to conclude the show tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please, if you're listening on the podcast version, go to our YouTube page, like us, subscribe to us. We're here live every single Wednesday night. Pretty soon during the season, we will be having a daytime show. Me and Justin are working out the kinks on that. It's going to be me and Justin. If Dave wants to make a cameo, he can. He got very upset that when we didn't invite him to our last Twilight show. Is Twilight? What's the fancy
Twilight
name
is nighttime.
Yeah, what's the fancy? Justin, you're smart. What's the fanciest name for daytime? Follow at USFF on Twitter.
Afternoon show?
The afternoon show.
There we go. Afternoon Delight. That's what they're called. And join the Discord.
I don't want to join your afternoon delight.
Yes, they're fun. Discord. We just started it today. We're going to get a DFS tournament going on. Weekly DFS. We're going to have fun with that. So lots to come.
Link in the description.
Oh,
I got a fantasy draft tomorrow. Let's go. Hell yeah. Live. We're streaming that shit too. That's going to be awesome. For my other show that I do.
Thanks for the invite. Also, what's next week's show, Justin?
Next week's show, you think I would have this thing?
Are we doing a draft ever? Are we ever going to do our draft?
We asked Bobby. You were
thing.
in the group. Yeah, we're going to host it. We're hosting the draft.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure.
The FinTalk Sports Network draft.
Next week we are scheduled to start doing our rankings.
There we go. We're having a ranking show. Dave, you got to have your rankings, right?
Rankings are dumb. I don't do rankings.
Rankings are dumb. He doesn't do
So
rankings.
Dave's going to react to our rankings next week.
I'll do that. I can do that.
But QBs and running backs. Start off with the big ones.
I honestly don't like ranking players. I'm sorry. I just don't.
Dave, do me a favor. You have to send us a picture doing this. So Dave could put it or Justin could put it in the thumbnail.
Please do. Only in a high resolution.
You have to or give us a couple like this one.
Like,
oh my god, we should start doing those for the YouTube thumbnails.
Like this?
Just like
Dave, send us a couple. We'll workshop them. We'll get you in. You'll be a star.
You guys are idiots.
We're gonna get so many views from those thumbnails too.
That's what all right, guys. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at FinTalk Sports Network, at Justin Bowerly, at Josh Kimball US, and of course at Viking David. Justin, get us out of here.
Oh shit!
Damn it, the new producer.
I know. Fired, right?
We need Bobby.
Gone.